No, I'm saying within our culture, we do not have a strong family or relationship structure. I'm not saying all, but for the majority part, the black family, a lot of black families are broken. There's a lot of broken or black homes. So what I'm saying is that I'm not
But
saying all, but I'm saying most, we are not educated on how to properly go out there and find a partner. We just, like she said, we're going out there saying, I like you, you like me. We just don't see where it goes.
Well, I think somebody
This is not a debate though. We're just all giving our personal advice. You know what
of
I'm saying?
course, no. I'm not even. I already addressed what I was going to say to you. All I was going to add was someone brought up that we're simply just in hookup culture. Our culture is promoting hookup culture. That's not dating, you know. So for to say that to say to me to say that we don't have any examples of how to date.
That's not what I said. I said that a lot of a lot of black families do not are broken. With that being said, we don't have for the most part there's not a lot of there's not a lot of strong families that navigate in the way that's healthy to be able to find a suitable partner. Is what I'm saying.
So
I'm not speaking for everyone. I never speak for everyone. But
that's fair. So let me finish.
yeah,
So
you're talking about courting.
if we've seen a long history of broken families and broken homes, right? At some point, somebody with some type of sense will have to say, you know what? Let me do the opposite of what they're doing because clearly this isn't working. The only way that does not happen is if everybody seems and thinks that it's okay. So until people admit and put on their big boy drawers, the big girl panties, and say, okay, I'm gonna be an adult and take accountability for my actions in my life, then that's when the hookup culture would go away. But until that happens, blaming it on blaming your family or what you've been exposed to, I think that's a cop out.
babe,
Because
no,
again,
Well,
if
I think that you're taking what I said out of context. I'm not shifting blame on anything. I'm basically detailing the factors that influence how we do not date in a healthy way. Does that make sense?
listen,
I'm
I think what I think Amira had it the most on point because dating in general, if we're being like, I know Viz, you're trying to find the difference between dating culture and hookup culture, but there really is none. It's just that dating culture is the original hookup culture. It's just that now it's happening faster. But during the times when dating first became prevalent, like in the 20s, the purpose of it back then was the same purpose it was now, which is to have sex. That's the reason why people dated. And actually, dating was looked down upon. Women who in the 20s when dating started becoming a normal thing, the women who dated were looked down upon by wives because they thought during that times that it would damage the women who wanted to be married chance of getting married because they felt like the women who were dating were giving it away for free. And then you go from like the 20s all the way until now, we see hookup culture has even accelerated. So based off what Amira's saying, she's kind of right. Like dating culture in general isn't about finding long-term partnership. Dating culture is about exchanging time, men exchanging time and dates and gifts for affection from women outside of marriage. That's really what it's supposed to be about. So courting would be saying, okay, well, like for example, if you watch The Godfather, when Michael Corleone met the girl that he ended up marrying in Sicily, they didn't even go on walks by themselves. Like they went on walks and the whole family was behind them walking with them on the walk. Like when they would go on dates, they would be group dating. Like, you didn't really have no time alone with that person at all until you were actually either engaged to them or married to them. So the Western way is very different than the way it was before the Western way became popular.
That's awesome that you understand how that works, how everybody comes along. It's not, a woman is never left to her own devices. She's never left alone and vulnerable. And that's what I think dating is going wrong. Women are out there making their own decision. And yeah, it feels liberating, but you're hurting yourselves. Ladies are getting more and more hurt, more and more damaged, more and more used and loose. And I mean, it's going bad mostly for ladies. Men don't really have much negative outcomes here, but women do in the dating world. I mean, in marriage, yeah, men have negative outcomes because of the family court system that we have today. But yeah, so dating is bad all for women. It's all bad for women.
Okay, so I just looked up because I didn't know that there was a distinctive difference between courting and dating. I thought that it was all the same thing, me personally. So it says that courting is like a promise to make a commitment to marriage. No physical intimacy, usually lasts up to a year. Family must give permission. Man is usually the one to approach a woman and court her. Dating doesn't account for readiness into marriage or long-term commitment, not waiting until marriage is acceptable, no timeline, no permission needed to date someone. There are no gender rules in dating. Anyone can approach anyone. So I guess for me, if I've always thought if we're dating, then that is a part of courtship. Like I'm here intentionally to see if this is something that we can legitimately grow into a marriage, right? Because yes, in the Western side of the world, is different from over east where you're receiving gold bars and Bentleys. You know what I'm saying? It's just simply different here, right? So I'm just going off of what I assumed growing up is that okay, when I was a kid and I said that that I'm dating such and such at 18 or whatever, right? I'm still, I don't know.
I hold that thought.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to get Marcus. And I know he was in the chat and he wanted to kind of clear some things. Let's go ahead, Marcus.
Just in case he's not finished before we go, I just want to give my advice real quick because I might have to leave.
No, I got you. Just let me get Marcus in and I go right to you. Go ahead, Marcus.
I ain't want much. I'm just playing around. I do find it funny that now we can acknowledge that women enjoy sex and that it ain't all harmful to them. I just want to add that. Yeah.
I thought you had to come up here. You over there trying to start. So go ahead, Dad.
When it comes to dating, for us Westerners, I'm going to say love yourself first. Learn. Give yourself grace, do better, and never leave the person in worse condition than when you found them.
So hold on. So Don, when you said give yourself grace, what do you mean? If you go out there and suck a dick, that's okay. There ain't nothing wrong with it, as long as you enjoy it.
Hey. No, I'm just saying, as women, as Western women, we tend to make more mistakes that are looked down upon by the world because of how the world does things. And if you did something wrong, you don't have to stay in whatever mistake that you made. You can learn, you can get to know God, you can grow. Don't let nobody make you feel like your past determines your future. Whatever it is that you went through as a man or a woman, if you, as a man, you was called lame, bitches didn't like you, you were used for your money. You do not have to go out there with a heavy heart and think every woman is going to be after your money. You can go out there with a positive mind frame in order to find your wife. Give yourself grace. I feel like a lot of people attack themselves and they can't grow from their mistakes because they're too busy moping. So yeah, like give yourself grace.
So when I hear people say when I hear people sit there and say give yourself grace, that to me that sounds like give yourself an excuse to do what you want to do.
No, you're thinking about sexting.
Be a hoe. Hold on, let me finish. To go out there and be a hoe, be loose. What my man JR called it, be a loose booty. Yeah, be a loose booty woman and do your thing. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. So yes, no, we can't sit there and say your past doesn't.
That's not what
your present. but I'm saying something different to you. It sounds like, and that's okay. But your past can affect your future. Shit you did in your past, you going out here and get pregnant can affect your future because a man may not want you because you had kids. He may not want to date a woman with kids. He may not want to date a woman with multiple kids. He may not want to date a woman who had multiple partners and ass calls. He may not want that. He may not want your knowing you was a loose booty at one time. All of a sudden, you were saved and sanctified and saved by the Holy Spirit. He may not want that. So yes, your past, even though you may need some grace and you expect to get some grace, doesn't mean it's not going to affect your future, though.
Okay, so let me clear up what I meant by what don't let your past affect your future. If you happen to end up putting work before your husband, because that's something we taught. If you end up chasing your career too early in life, that's something else. If you ended up having an aggressive way of talking and you ended up losing your last boyfriend because he wasn't dealing with that shit, it's okay. You can learn how to be submissive. You can learn how to be soft, because everything doesn't just come down to sex when it comes to giving yourself grace with the mistakes that you can make in order to make the relationship not work.